some of the hits in this one. Here.
Love the college rugby league.
Williams again leading the way. Murray getting involved as well. They come back towards the middle of the park. And oh, guess what? Another big hit. Knock on, so what a hit there. From here.
Love the college rugby league. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the home of the Richmond Bulldogs, and we're here for the main clash of the day, a local derby. Bulldogs up against Point Chevalier Pirates, and I'm proud and very privileged to have the chairman of the club with us from the Richmond Bulldogs, Gus, and you're a legend, mate. You're no need for being introduced to all of our viewers out there. And Gus, what does a home game mean for you with live streaming?
Oh, it's very exciting, Troy. Thank you for having me. The club is looking forward to it. You know, these don't come around very often, so when you have opportunities like this, you make the most of it. As you know, the club with a lot of history and
absolutely,
and always you know, love and passion for the game, and we're looking forward to a good encounter today.
The field is looking fantastic, Gus. Has there been a bit of work happening down here at the Greyland Park?
Absolutely. You know, we've looked after it for the first 3 months this year.
Yep.
Between us and the council. So we've fenced it off for 3 months and let the grass grow properly. And, you know, what Greyland's like back in the day was just mud, but it's awesome today, Troy. Very good.
Look, and you know, in regards to having a not just a live stream game down here at the Richmond Bulldogs, but also a home game, there's a lot of activity that happens down here. I can smell all the wonderful food, you know, coming out of the canteen. What else happens in regards to, you know, when the game's finished? Can anyone come down and join in at the club?
Absolutely. More than welcome. More than welcome in the club afterwards. That's always a norm. You know, people are allowed in the club to have a ale or two with the players and have a good discussions about the game, and yeah. So everybody's welcome back to the club.
Well, that's the great thing, and it's a great family spirit down here in regards to, you know, everyone being welcomed in, and not just you know, the kids to come down. You know, the mums and dads are also, you know, it's a safe environment, you know, to come down and enjoy themselves, and the clubhouse is right on the grounds, and you know, just a fantastic setup. Local derby though, would we turn our attention to Point Chevalier? What's the tip today, mates? And you know, how do these clashes normally go down?
Well, as you know, Troy, Point Chev is right up the top there, or the top two. But, you know, we're looking forward to our boys to give a good account for themselves. We're a young team and a new team. This is Steve Buchan's second year. And we're looking forward to a good effort against the top team today. Yeah,
and I think it'd be fair to say, too, you guys built off a wee bit of momentum from last year. Coming up, staying up was a key. And, you know, this year you guys have, I probably would like to be a wee bit further up the ladder, I guess, but, you know, certainly not under relegation threat, and that must, you know, make you proud in the senior community.
Yes, as you know, it's, you know, the first division is the goal for the club. You know, we got to be up there because of the history of the club, and, you know, we're trying everything we can to stay in the top, and I believe that we will as well this year. You know, if they go, there's a few more games left to go, and looking forward to a better effort in the next few weeks.
No, look, finally, just need to say, Gus, you know, outside of volunteers, which are important to all clubs, so are sponsors, and I know that you've got a number of sponsors, and let's give them a shout out. Let's give them some love, mate. So who's looking after you this year?
Yes, we got the normal people, fantastic people. LJ Hooker of Ponsonby.
LJ Hooker.
Yeah, and Divesh, our good friend at Waterview Laundromat. You know, has been a fantastic guy with a big heart and supports the club all the way. We got Mickey B's gym at Williamson Air that supports us for training, not only the men's but the ladies as well too. Fantastic there. And we also got Grant and Ellie at the Greyland Tavern. Has been with the club for years now and real total loyal supporters of the club, and the club is very happy to have them on board. Then we got some sub-sponsors, you know, people that does the play of the day, like the old boys group Karuba, and we got Lahores.
The
Lahores back in the day, they got together and put in some funds in there for play of the days.
Oh, fabulous.
It's bloody awesome.
Yep.
And we also can't forget our Peter Fell Concrete and Partiki Road, Evandale's. It's been a sponsor for our junior academy for the last 5 years, Troy. Very good guy and very, we hope the people to, for our supporters to go out and support him, Troy. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah, and buy some of their products. Or,
yes,
you know, at least go
absolutely.
along to the venues. Absolutely, mate. Awesome, man. Well, look, as always, you know, I love being with you, Gus. You know, you're a bit of a legend yourself, and good to see you still sprinting around the place. And on behalf of the Auckland Rugby League, I want to thank you for hosting us down here today for the fabulous clash that's about to take place at 2:30. And as I said, on behalf of the Auckland Rugby League, thanks very much for having us, mate.
Thank you, Troy and Corey. You guys are doing a wonderful job. So have a great day.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys. All right, well, look, Corey's going to be back very shortly, and we're going to be interviewing the coaches. And don't go too far away. It's going to be a fabulous match here today at the home of the Richmond Bulldogs. Look forward to seeing you soon.
We're now joined by assistant coach, once we get the mic turned on there, assistant coach of the Point Chevrolet Pirates, Carl Gribble. Well, Carl, a great start to the season, unbeaten up until last week, but probably a bit of a thud back to reality last week.
Yeah, definitely, Corey. It was a disappointing first half. You know, held them out a bit better in the second half, but by the first half it was over. So, yeah, our boys have had reality check, gone back to training this week, and hopefully we'll see it out on the field this week. It's a bit better.
You mentioned obviously a poor first half because the second half was actually pretty decent, but have you been able to sort of put your finger on what was going on in the first half there? Was it a bit of complacency or just lack of energy?
To be fair, Glenora came out better, faster, stronger, did everything, you know, that we wanted to do, and they did it better than us. So, you know, all credit to Glenora. They totally deserved the win, and we've got to wake up from that and learn from it and come back from it. So we'll see if it happens today.
Good second half though, so something to build on for this week. Has that been sort of spoken about at training this week from Coach Liam Pocklington? Yeah,
obviously you got to try and take the positives out of it, and there were some positives in there, but really we just let them get a roll on and struggled to come back from that. So, hey, proof's in the pudding. We're going to do it on the field, right? Talking's enough talking. We're going to do action. So.
Get a bit of a club legend back today, Siwa Tanuku, who's come out of a very short retirement, halfway through the season. Back, he's had a few games with the reserves. What does he bring to the team?
Just his leadership, his experience, his talk from the back. Yeah, I mean, I think he had itchy feet, and you know, he's come back at a good time. So he offers a lot for us, and I'm sure he'll go well today.
What's the key to beating this Richmond team? You've obviously played them once already this year. It was a high-scoring one, a close one in the end. So what gets the job done today?
I think we just got to do our defence better today, win that ruck, win the middle, and you know, we know they got talent, and they bit of a different game, you know, do some short kicks and stuff like that. So we just got to keep eyes open all the time.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us, Carl. All the best today.
Thanks, Corey. Cheers, Zane.
We are joined now by Richmond Bulldogs assistant coach Henry Nicholas. Well, Henry, a couple of tough weeks, I guess, in the fact that a heavy defeat last week, although you did get the win against Marist about a fortnight ago. So what's the, I guess, morale like in the team right now?
Yeah, obviously losing last week, it's kind of set us back a little bit, but we've had a good week in terms of preparation, both on Tuesday and Thursday. We had 2 good sessions in, so really today's just about starting again and getting, just getting the basics right and just playing good football.
What were the main lessons to come out of that loss to Howick?
Oh, comms, our defence wasn't where it should have been. We were really disappointed about that. So, we've got plans in place. We didn't execute as good as we wanted to, so today's just about, again, just getting those little things right.
Central Auckland derby, these ones usually aren't hard to get up for. Do you feel a bit of a difference in the boys this week?
Yeah, your man Alberts, your point Chevs, every time we play these guys, the boys naturally get up for it.
Yep.
And you usually see good performances from us. But we've said to our guys, look, like we're sort of used to that. We need to get a result.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we've had a good week. The boys are up for it. The enthusiasm's good out there. The chat is good. It's a good day for football, so there's no excuses for us.
It's a very good day for football, and although there has been a fair bit of rain in Auckland, the field's in wonderful nick as well, and we just saw a nice open game of footy in the curtain raiser as well. Now you get Siavi and Kakoi back. They were called up to the Warriors, but you get them back. How big is that inclusion? Oh,
it's huge for us, really, because I mean, they're young, they're both young guys, but they bring so much experience as well, and what they do to the for the rest of the boys, it's quite good because having them there, the boys lift. Having them in the team. So Siavi's he's magic with the ball in hand. Kakui's real physical in the middle. We need them both at their best today. So for us to get a result.
Come up against a wounded Pirates team who were well beaten by Glenora last week. What are you expecting their response will be, Henry?
Oh, look, Point Chev, I mean, we know they lost last week, but we know they'll bounce back and they're going to be tough again in the middle. They're really going to bring it to us. We just got to be on our game. We've really just got to focus on us and control that football and defend really well in the middle and both on the edges as well. We've had a little bit of trouble. So again, it's just for us. We just got to concentrate on ourselves, hold that football, defend well, play eyes up football, and just hopefully see what happens from there.
All right, not long until kickoff now. We're going to let Henry go and finish warming the boys up. In the meantime, we're going to build up towards kickoff here in Richmond versus Point Chevalier. We're going to take a look at the field. Sun is out here at Greyland Park, so we'll take a look at the conditions. Welcome back in to our live coverage here from Greyland Park. You can see the Point Chevalier Pirates on screen going through their preparations, and Siwa Tanuku wearing the number 2 today. Likely to play fullback though. Back out of retirement after initially retiring at the end of last year, but comes at a good time for the Point Chevrolet Pirates, who are facing a bit of a crisis at fullback with Oli Tomavavi out injured. Zane Pocklington there going through the final bits of advice for the team. In the meantime, we're going to take a little look at some of the action from around the grounds, starting with the second division, the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup. The draw this week, if you are planning on getting out to a game, there is still time. Northern Eagles, they take on, or Northern Brothers I should say, take on the LZ Eagles at Freiburg Park. West Auckland Derby, Te Aratu Roosters up against the Newland Stags. Mount Wellington play Papatoetoe. Manurewa up against Pakuranga Jaguars. Manukau Magpies face the Ponsonby Ponies. And Waitemata Seagulls play the second placed Franklin Storm. Otara with the bye this week. And little look at some of the results from last week as well. Franklin Storm comfortable winners over the Manukau Magpies, 78 points to 4. Bay Roskill grinding out a tough one against the Te Aratu Roosters, 18-0. Waitemata, another of the West Auckland derbies, they got up 36 to 12 over New Lynn. Manurewa were comfortable 36 to 6 winners over Mount Wellington. Hibiscus Coast with a big victory to lift themselves off the bottom of the ladder, 40 points to 10 over the Papatoetoe Panthers. The Pakuranga Jaguars, a shock result really in many respects, 40 points to 4 over the Otara Scorpions, who had been travelling along pretty nicely up until then. And the Ponsonby Ponies did it comfortable against the Northern Brothers, 48 points to 6 in that one. And what does it all look like on the ladder? We'll see if we can bring up the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup ladder now and take a little look at some of the happenings on that one. And at the top is the Bay Roskill Vikings, undefeated. The perfect 8 from 8 record, followed closely by the Franklin Storm, who have 6 wins to their name. Ponsonby Ponies and LZ Eagles sitting just in behind on 12 points, both with 5 wins to their name. And the next group back, it is a close one, just 2 points separating the Te Aratu Roosters, Manurewa Marlins, Otara Scorpions, Newland Stags, Pakuranga Jaguars, Waitemata Seagulls and the Northern Brothers. So that middle part of the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup table very congested right now. And then the back end, the Manukau Magpies, the Mount Wellington Warriors, the Hibiscus Coast Raiders and the Papatoetoe Panthers. So that's how things look in the Auckland second division, which is now at its halfway point as well. A little look at some of the action from last week in the Fox. The Mount Albert Lions, they went down to the Papakura Sea Eagles, 28 points to 24. The Otahu Leopards did it tough, 14 points to 12 over Marist. Northcote, 42 to 38, winners over Mangere East. They took a big lead into the break in that one before going down. Of course, Northcote just had another victory earlier today over the Mount Albert Lions. Howard Hornets comfortable 58 to 18 winners over today's live stream team, the Richmond Bulldogs, while Point Chevrolet, the other live stream team today, they had their first loss of the year, 34 points to 14 over the Glenora Bears. So that is how it went in the Fox. We'll take a little look at the ladder as well, which is on screen now. The Glenora Bears, they assume the lead of the competition with victory last week. They also have control of the Root Rooster. Point Chevrolet Pirates tied on competition points, but trailing on points for and against. That next group back, the Howard Hornets and Northcote Tigers. Northcote now on 16 competition points with victory just a few minutes ago over the Mount Albert Lions, which means they jump to third position for the time being, pending the Howard Hornets result, and create a bit of a gap between themselves and the Mount Albert Lions. Further back, the Otahu Leopards, who have made a great start to life back in the first division. The Mangere East Hawks, Papakura Sea Eagles, Richmond Bulldogs, and at the bottom, the Marist Saints, still looking for that first victory. So that is how it looks heading into round 11 in the Fox. And the game's going on today across Auckland. Otahu, they are at home to the Howard Hornets after that game was rescheduled in round 1 due to stormy conditions. Richmond Bulldogs we're going to see take on the Point Chevrolet Pirates in a few minutes' time. Marist Saints versus Mangere East Horse. Marist will have this one penciled in as a game they should be able to win. And the Mangere East as well, they know that a victory here will really all but ensure that they are safe from relegation. And a big one going on out south, Papakura up against the Glenora Bears. So some big games going on around Auckland. I'm now going to welcome into the commentary box Troy Hardy, who's been out running around doing a couple of things for our main game here today. And Troy, Central Auckland derbies, they're always big games, and you get the feeling both these teams are up for it.
Absolutely, and you can see the Biden Bulldogs. The banners are out, and they're going to get the warm welcome down here of the Point Chevalier Pirates as they travel a couple of blocks up the road to have this massive clash today. And fair to say, you know, there's a couple of boys that have played at Richmond and now at Point Chevalier and been there for some time, and they always get the big warm welcome when they come back to Grey Lynn, as you know. And I think, you know, from Richmond's point of view, you know, talking to the chairman as the build-up started for the 2:30 match, is, you know, they'd like to be a little bit further up the ladder, as most clubs would do. However, I think, you know, building off the momentum from last year where, you know, some of the sides struggle when they come up from the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup competition to the SAS Fox, did really well. You know, they stayed in, they cemented their position. I think having Bucky down here, the head coach, Steve Buckingham, certainly brought a lot of structure and process to the club with the boys that they've got coming through. And one of the big players that stood out for me in our last live stream match when we saw them go around, coming off the bench, I see today, is Isaac Arkoi Atmore. And he certainly changed the pace around the dummy half. And I think he'll have another big impact today.
Yeah, Mount Albert Grammar old boy Isaac. And certainly changed the game when he came on. Of course, we covered Mags in the SAS College Rugby League midweek as well. Had a good win over Westlake.
Yes.
So Mags still in with a shot of qualifying through as part of that top group in the SAS College Rugby League comp. So great to see those players filtering through into the Fox as well. You can see the Richmond Bulldogs, who are over the back today on the number 2 field, going through their warm-ups. Point Chevalier in front of the club rooms, warming up as we go. Big shout out to the Richmond club as well. Well, Troy, we arrived here early this morning, and the Richmond crew were out in force already. Absolutely, and it's always good to catch up with Auntie Carol Redmond. She was down here cracking the whip, making sure everybody was on time and on point. And it's always good to catch up with Carol, and as it is with all of the volunteers, that certainly helped. So as we said earlier, the canteens over there, and they normally have some fantastic food. So, you know, if you miss out on Polyfest, come down here, man. There's big dishes, big feeds, and all at a reasonable price. Yeah, and it's timely that you mention our volunteers there, Troy. It's National Volunteer Week. Have a look on aucklandleague.co.nz. We've got a number of really cool profiles on some of the game's volunteers. A shout out to the ARL media team doing some good work on those, and I guess recognising the people who give so much to make our game happen every weekend. So jump on to aucklandleague.co.nz, take a look at that. Give us a follow on social media as well. Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter. Of course, YouTube, where all the games in their entirety are available to watch back. And there's a couple of people that I handwrite letters to as well. I'd like to shout out to them. So Point Chevalier going through their last little bits here. There will be a few changes for them from last week. But Troy, that had such a good run until last week, and really it was a comprehensive performance, I guess, from Glenora. Yeah, absolutely. But you're picking that's going to have dented this Point Chevalier team's confidence at all? They're going to brush it off pretty easy. Oh, no, I think that's going to stay with them. You know, that was the big clash from, you know, if we wound the clock right back to the beginning of the season, you know, there was only 1 point that separated those two teams. And coming into that week's clash, you know, it'd be fair to say the Glenora Bears, they absolutely mauled the Pirates. So that's probably going to set them up for the back end of the season. And if you were to talk to any of the coaching staff, they'll probably want to have that mauling now than, you know, having it getting to the deep end of the season when, you know, we're at the business end and, you know, every single win counts. So it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. I think you touched on Siwa's back, and I'm looking forward to seeing him go around. You know, that man's got a lot of class, a lot of pace, and, you know, great to have him back in the ARL. Yeah, and one of the top try scorers in the competition over the last few years, always there or thereabouts, along with his teammate Saula Solomona. Good to see the fans up in the trees down here at Richmond Park. And
big shout out. This is Arkoi Central, and at Arkoi Central, there's also some other famous names out of here, the Wagners, the Solomonas. You know, we could go on and on and on. So much love and respect to, you know, all of the families that have been involved with the Richmond Rugby League.
We can see our referees have made their way to halfway. Big shout out to the refs today in the middle of the park. Controlling this match, Ramakoti, and the touch judges, Corey Jewell and Antoinette Watts. Antoinette Watts, a referee who has played extensively, or has reffed extensively, I should say, at the higher levels in the New South Wales competition and under-20s competitions. One of the great young referees in the association. So great to see her back involved in the Fox this week, although we don't expect to see too much of her. She is more involved in those sort of high-level appointments these days. If you are interested in having a look at the Referees Association, arlrefs.co.nz. We're now going to bring up the two team lists and take a look at how the sides will take the field today. Starting with the home side, the Richmond Bulldogs at the back, Machu, Stone Dunn. The wingers are Matrix, Kauhiva and Robert Melisea. The centres, David Dyer and Siave Tupo. And the halves, Brandon Motion and Kyle Neal. Tuki Kamanapo and Stuart Prius are the bookends. Stuart Prius, the captain of the team today in Leon Latour's absence. Stam Sturgis is the hooker in the back row. Isala Piao, Shaquille Solomona and Kakoi Tongio is the lock. And on the bench, Isaac Arkoi, Atmore, Thomas Hull, Nathaniel Law and Sione Nahi. That is how the Richmond Bulldogs will take the field, supported by a number of sponsors, including LJ Hooker, Ponsonby, Waterview, Laundromat, Mickey B's Fitness, and of course the Greyland Tavern. And the Ortex Point Chevalier Pirates, this is how they will take the field. And there's a jersey change. Siwa Tanuku will play fullback, but wear the number 2. Saula Solomona will wear the 1, but play on the wing. So it is Siwa Tanuku, Saula Solomona, Marlo Solomona, Gary Foimono, and Matty Faitotoa. And the halves, they get a big one back. Francis Ledger, who plays most of the year for the New Zealand Warriors reserves. They get him back this week, and a huge bonus for their halves. He will be the number 6, joined by Dylan Tavita. And up in the front row, Daniel Palavi, he'll wear the 19. The 8 jersey was ripped last week up against Glenora. So it will be Daniel Palavi and Kitiona Passini in the front row. Sioeli Makawi is the hooker, and the captain on the back row, Matty Tuitama, Lokeni Gavitt, Chris Seal. And on the bench, Tavidalatu, Kolionioni, Nathan Newton, and Laupapa Passini. That is how the Point Chevalier Pirates will take the field today. Richmond coached by Steve Buckingham and Point Chevalier coached by Zane Pocklington. So we can see now Point Chevalier making their way out to halfway. And a big game, the Central Auckland Derby. We saw a thriller earlier, Troy. What about that curtain raiser? The Northcote Tigers rallying in the end to record what was a pretty comfortable victory. I think 14 points in the end. But boy, heck of a game.
Yeah, and if you're, I think I said during that match, if you're a Northcote Tigers supporter, do you now start to believe?
Yeah, well, it was a pretty convincing performance, and in particular, we noted during the game the impact of their bench. Thomas Connick coming off and assisting a try and scoring one down the left edge, and likes of Brody Tamarua adding plenty, along with Joe Bywater, who was fantastic.
Yeah, he had a great day in the office, and I think Barner's a bad man. He's a bad man. So, you know, not bad to come out at this part of the season and play through to the back end. So I think Jeff Morton will be a very happy coach as they head back to have free jugs laid on by Bobby at the club.
And you mentioned, obviously, Dylan Moses still to come back. So potentially they're only going to get stronger, Northcote. You never know what's going to happen with injuries, but they're sitting in a pretty good position, the Tigers.
Well, this is going to shape up to be a classic clash. As we said, the local derby, Pirates up against the Bulldogs, the home of Richmond, here at the Dog Pound at Greyland.
And straight away we can
was
hear
into it. Yeah, absolutely.
The talk from Otunuku at the back, the veteran fullback.
Right, guys, here we go. Time your run.
Francis Ledger to get us underway. Here we go, round 11 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership, the main game, and it is Brandon Motion who brings it in, and Prios gets straight into it, the captain.
Go.
Richmond winners a fortnight ago against Marist, and that was a huge game in the context of their season. Suffered a heavy defeat last week against Howick, but plenty of reason to believe that this Richmond team can pick up a few more wins along the way and really make sure they are safe from that relegation battle at the bottom, which right now is being fought out between a few teams, but it's Marist who are in the most trouble. 4 points back. Neil has his kick charge down, and play on is the call, so good start for Point Chevalier, getting there, pressuring Neil and shutting that one down. So they complete the set, but the kick at the end of it is fairly poor. And as a result, Point Chevalier now start this set from inside attacking territory.
Hold! Peel off together! Hold! Locked in, play on. Go!
Ledger turns Gavitt back on the inside.
Move!
Locked in, milking.
Hold!
Makawi on to Pallavi. We're in the 19 today. I mentioned the preamble, number 8 jersey ripped last week against Glenora.
I think that's when Lawaki took it off him.
It was indeed. Well, Tanuku now chiming in. Tackled on last tackle, so handover is the call. Not sure if there was a bit of a breakdown there for Point Chevalier.
One! Move!
Impressed with Point Chevalier Pirates fullback already. The amount of communication coming out of him at the kickoff is incredible. They'll be certainly looking to use that experience as Richmond are grinding it out from inside their 30.
Hands off! Hold, guys, hold, go!
Down the right edge they come. David Dyer joining in. Spent some time overseas. Played a bit of footy with the West Warriors. Shout out to the West Warriors boys. A team made up of all Aussies and Kiwis, mostly on their OEs. Had a great run at the Challenge Cup a couple of years ago. Spin it out the back now. Neil, this time he gets to his kick, and it's Motion who gets to his kick, but it's another poor one, and it's a rough start for the Richmond halves. 2 poor finishes to their sets. And Point Chevalier to pack down 40 metres off their own line. So they're yet to have to work it out at all. And Richmond have had 2 uses of the ball.
Lock it up. Lock it up. In straight. Go.
Tavita feeds the scrum, and it's messy. Messy indeed.
So Richmond get the feed.
And they may as well have not even broken the scrum, because we're about to pack down another one. And this time it's going to be fed by a man in blue and maroon.
Stay close. Get him in.
Yep.
Lock it up. Stay in. Play on, advantage.
It's a poor feed of the scrum, but picked up by Siave Tupo. So a scrappy start for both teams here. Both pretty slow out of the gates so far. Tongio.
Hands off!
Good.
Neil now switches the direction of the play. Motion. Takes it into contact.
Move! Hold!
Sturgis receives at dummy half. Prius plays at the line to Tongio.
4! Play on!
Sturgis to Neil. Neil goes out the back to Machu. Stone done, kicks, but it's cleaned up by Otanuku, who will be trapped in goal. Back-to-back sets coming up, so that's a bit better from Richmond. And after failing to get to a decent kick on their opening 2 sets, they forced to repeat with their third.
Wait for the goal line dropout from the Pirates.
Tavita with a spinning one, which is allowed to bounce by Motion, picked up and then handed off to Stuart Prius, who drives the legs, spent last year with the Te Arotu Roosters, comes across to Richmond along with his halfback, Kyle Neal, and Brandon Motion as well.
Play on. Hand on ball.
Short at the line to Solomona.
Just watching number
Tongiol
Great
now,
run.
who's been heavily involved early on, driving right up to the line. Held up is the call.
Wait. Slow down. Wait for me, wait!
Back into it they go now, Richmond. Looking for first points in the game. Neil plays short. Point Chevalier getting there in numbers. They've held him up for the time being, and held up is the call.
4.
So back we go again for another try. It's held up twice already.
Wait.
That time it was pure.
4.
Neil to motion. Motion dummies to Prios, instead brings in Solomona.
Final!
Around the side.
Siave Tupo picks it up at dummy half now. Motion kicks across field. It's not deep enough. Bodies up for it, but it's cleaned up by Ledger. And Point Chevalier survive it.
Go! Get up, play it! Go back, play it, go back, play it.
With me.
Ledger told to go back and play it. One of a number of boys to come through the St. Paul's system who's on the field today.
Hands up!
Makawi chews off some easy yardage. Casio, it's messy again. Boy, oh boy. A scrappy old start to our feature game today. And another mistake. Point Chevalier's third error of the game. Second error, I should say.
Just behind the line, gentlemen.
So Richmond now to pack down, motion with the feed. Ball still yet to come out of the scrum. The scrum has spun around.
Our scrum is broken up.
And I think we'll pack down and try it again. So a bizarre start to the game, really, Troy. Errors everywhere. A push in the scrum. It's all on. Siave Tupo now. Well contained initially by Foimono, but he popped the pass out the back.
Don't move it.
Kolhiva taken dangerously close to the sideline.
Whoa.
Motion misses it out, and Prius has been taken out in back play there, and we're going to get a penalty, and fair enough.
He didn't have the ball at all. No,
There's going to be a little bit of a chat there with the Bulldogs player. The one on the ground, Corey. Sorry. Not the referee talking to the Point Chevalier guy.
And I think it is Stuart Prius from what I can tell, but boy, he wore a shot. It was when Motion
Yeah, he's going to bounce up from that one.
instead held the ball, and it's lucky Motion did hold the ball. Kick for touch, so it's all Richmond, the early pressure.
Next line.
The home side,
Up on the line with
can they find points at the end of it? Tupo to Stuart Prius.
How? Feel away now.
Siave Tupo, a member of the national title winning Southern Cross campus team a couple of years ago. Sturgis goes out the back to Neil, to Stone Dunn. Stone Dunn holds it up. Here's the opening try, is it? It's going to be very close in the corner.
Happy with the grabbing?
And we're going to need a conference, I dare say, to decide this one, because even on the camera,
There it is.
there it is. Points to the spot. Let's take a look on the replay. And it was impossible to tell live whether or not that had been grounded in the field of play, with all the limbs remaining in as well. You can see it's good play from Neil. Stone Dunn, and then from here, Stone Dunn, just the little goose step, just holds them up. And a tidy finish from Melisea.
He was happy with that one. Yeah, the finger's still going.
So Robert Melisea opens the scoring with a try in the far right corner here at Greyland Park.
Yeah, the opening passage, we see the Richmond Bulldogs complete 2 back-to-back sets. Handling error from Point Chevalier put them under pressure. Then they received a penalty, and off the back of that, try over there on the right-hand edge. Richmond, all the territory. So get ready to attempt the conversion. Big shout out to our live stream partners, Ctas, and also my little mate in the bar who'll be looking after everyone, Toa. So good to come down here and catch up with everybody. And I dare say his fingers will be crossed. Or you can get those great big banana fingers crossed. And it's good.
Wow, brilliant conversion. I think it's Siave Tupo who's converted it. Can't quite catch the number there, but the main one that matters is that it is over. And it was over convincingly as well. Boy, he puts his foot through it.
So Point Chevalier back to the halfway, getting ready to reset.
Yep, okay.
So Richmond Bulldogs, 6 points to 0. They lead this one.
Great start for the Bulldogs.
Oh! Hands up!
They gave Point Chevalier a good scare back in round 2. It was an 11-point victory in the end for the Pirates, but for a while there, Richmond certainly had their number.
Roll away! Hold! Go!
Sturgis to Kamanapo,
Hands up!
the Auckland Māori under-20s representative, just 18 years of age. Hails from the Mount Wellington club. Tavita pressures motion, but Otonuku claims safely, looks up and sees an enthusiastic kick chase.
Hold! Move! Hold! Go!
Sola Solomona now. One of 3
Got floated.
Solomonas on the park today. 2 for Point Chevalier,
Who's here?
1 for Richmond. Famous name around these ways, of course.
3 here!
Good line speed that time from Sturgis. Up in the face.
Inside! Yep. Inside!
Not a bad little kick.
Stone Dunn back to collect. He was our SAS player of the day a couple of weeks ago when they beat Marist. And boy, that was a questionable decision. Dyer picks it up and settles things down. So Richmond
Go!
playing with fire a little bit there. Tuitama jumped out looking to knock the ball
big
down.
bend.
Tupou runs over the top of him.
Block ball.
Ball now loose. Knock-on's the call. Pallavi picks it up. We're going to pack down for a scrum.
Nah, if you're happy with the tackle, I am. Block ball, nothing else. Yep.
Here we go.
So scrum to pack down. About 20 metres off the line. I think it was Makawi who came up with the contact to force the error in the end on Tupou.
Gentlemen, just back here on this line. 1 foot.
We were happy with it.
Cool. Hold there.
Experienced campaigner himself, Siueli Makawi, spent time with the West Tigers, came through the Kibra Park system. He's also part of the wider Tongan squad for the 2008 World Cup. Along with his teammate and dummy half partner, Tavita Latu.
Hold ball. Hold.
Slow play the ball now. Centralise. Seal to Tavita. And the back is Otonuku. Seal Otonuku lays it on to Gary Fuimono.
With the pass, quickly with the grounding.
And Point Chevalier hit back. Quick hands out the right-hand side. And Gary Fuimono finishes it.
C was slotted in there nicely, considering it's his first game back with the Prems.
He sums it up nicely here. Otonuku just holds it up,
Yeah.
gives them no choice but to commit to the tackle. And then Fuimono, all he has to do is run and touchdown. 6-4 kick to come.
True. All right.
And a fabulous crowd down here, Corey. You know, the amount of people that are behind us sitting up in the banks and on the bleachers, around the park, up on the Richmond Hill there. Beautiful day for rugby league down here at Greyland.
So you just keep over that ruck. We'll have you with that 10, but so far. so
Bench
good.
starting to warm up over on the far side for the Richmond Bulldogs. SAS, major sponsors of the ARL Fox Memorial.
So Dylan Tavita right up against the sideline here, former Richmond boy himself.
Taking his time.
Coming in.
Good off the tee, but away to the right. So the score will remain Richmond 6, Point Chevalier 4. 16 minutes gone here at Greyland Park. The Pirates, after a sluggish start, respond nicely to the early deficit.
I think they're still waiting for Adam McCarthy to come back. I don't think he's far off the mark either for the Pirates, so that'll certainly add another bow to their hooked hand.
We saw Arden in action back in round 1. And the foul touch here have Richmond. So one of the strangest starts to a game I've experienced in a while continues as Richmond find touch off the kickoff. And now we'll get a scrum feed 10 out from the line. So a strange old day so far here at Greyland Park. Plenty of twists and turns.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Richmond on the hop.
Off the back of the scrum now, Kolhiva.
Hold! Try line! Hold here!
Point Chevalier frantically calling players out to their left edge. Instead, Richmond go the opposite way. Already been held up over the line twice in this game. Here's a penalty.
Number 7 was offside. We have number 7 was offside. Here we go, here, guys.
Too long in the tackle.
You were involved. You're still involved.
Richmond backing it up, getting ready to go again. Here they come.
Kamanapo.
Move! Now! Hold! Go!
Sturgis to motion. Motion now brings back to the inside. Solomona. Neil does well to pick it up off the toes, and then David Dyer comes back in on the angle right in front of the SAS upright. More pressure on the Point Chevalier defensive line. Now they go short to Prius.
Try line!
Fourth tackle. Sturgis to motion. Where's the shot from Otonoku?
No use of the arm.
And it's a shoulder charge, and fair enough. There was no real effort to wrap the arm there.
Wait for me, wait.
Pirates making it tough for themselves. Back-to-back penalties down here, right on their line. Third attempt.
Tongio. Sturgis now jumps out of dummy half. Sam Sturgis.
Yep.
Richmond are in again. And it is Sam Sturgis who just burrows over from dummy half. Starts off with a good carry forward here from Kakoi Tongiu. And then Sturgis dummies, jumps out and just keeps fighting until he gets that ball down. Great work from the little number 9.
Well, it's a great start for the Richmond Bulldogs after the Pirates had gone in. They found touch with a wonderful little kickoff. Took the scrum, back to back. Like a little stat sheet here, Corey. A lot of blue ink being used, mate. It's been all Richmond down here for the last few minutes.
Hold there, gentlemen. Right there.
And I hear the key coming from the Richmond pack out there. They just want to complete.
So Tongiu to attempt the conversion from just to the left of the uprights.
Whoa.
And off the post. So the score
Yeah.
remains Richmond 10,
Now that I saw the push.
Point Chevrolet 4,
He's
20
shaking
minutes
his head on
gone.
that one, he knows. There's 2 points that they won't claw back off that kick. And big college rugby league action coming up every Wednesday, 4 p.m. We'll be live streaming the next match, and Corey will be able to tell you who that is. I've just dropped Corey in it. That's called a hospital pass as we get ready for the Pirates to kick off and they look to reset. Here we go.
Francis Ledger gets us back underway. Motion, just about a forward pass there. Bit of a mix up at the back.
Oh, hands up! Well done! Go! Heel off together!
And of course that college rugby league game Troy references coming up. Kelston Boys High School up against Manurewa High School.
Oh, you pulled it out of the roller deck. Good boy. Great carry.
Been great to broadcast some of the SAS College Rugby League games, as we will do up until the final.
Offside.
Give him 10!
Neil gets to his kick,
Number 6.
Number 6, give him 10!
turns Faitotoa around, and it finds touch. It's ended up a very good kick from Kyle Neal. Spent last year with the Te Aratu Roosters, played some really good footy last year as well, Kyle Neal, and a team which didn't always have a lot of playmaking options. It was very good for the Roosters under the mentorship of Dad Revel Neal.
Yeah, and he was a class act too. That's a box you owe me, Rev.
Get him in lock! Hold!
So scrum packs down now. Tavita feeds Sola Solomona with the first carry forward.
Hold! Hands up! Go!
Big carry forward now from Kolionioni.
Two!
Short to Palavi, who captained the Tonga New Zealand residents
Hands up!
Leveraging off the right.
earlier this month.
Say that again.
On the Queen's birthday weekend,
Keep going.
Upright
Number
Access
13.
Man Cup match.
Hand on.
Okay. Ah!
Going down to Auckland in a heavy defeat in the end. But a great experience for all involved now. Ledger dummies at the line. He's fooling no one. Taken 20 metres out.
Pushing forward, milking.
Makawi to Tavita. Tavita dribbles a little kick in behind. It's messy, but cleaned up eventually now. And now they counter-attack Richmond.
Play it!
They have got some dynamic athletes in this squad.
Two! Three here! Go!
Short ball, flat
Four!
at the line. Prius gets the legs driving.
Go!
Spin it out the back
Number
now.
8
Motion
offside.
gets to the kick. Dinks one over the top
And we're
and
out. On the
just
line.
inside the field of play. Another good kick. So after a tough start, the Richmond playmakers have really taken control of this game. A couple of good kicks from both Kyle Neal and Brandon Motion. And they are humming right now.
Just hold on the line, gentlemen. Wait for the out. Nice, strong out here, Roma.
Different tempo to the first game, isn't it? They, just taking their time. Pirates on the grind.
Yeah, you're right. The curtain raiser straight out of the gates, end-to-end stuff. This one,
Line speed
number
good.
more errors to start with. Chris Seal. Good carry forward.
So you had an extra go at it. You had an extra go at it on the ground. Let him up.
Seal earns the penalty and then gives the referee
Good penalty.
a word as well, which won't do him any favours. Tavita kicks for touch.
On the line.
We've got that down as the Pirates' first penalty today.
Hold!
Pahlavi straight at Sturgis, the try scorer from a few minutes ago.
9 locked in.
Makawi drops back on his inside and finds, looks like Lakini Govett. Makawi out the back, Tavita to Tuitama. Had a blistering start to the year, did Matty Tuitama. Tough day at the office last week though. Jordan Toure really had some fun down that side of the field. Now there's a player down and back play, although he's just lying there to avoid an offside. Now a ball up over the top to Sola Solomona. Sola Solomona!
Great speed.
He only needs the slightest little sniff of a chance, and he turns it into 4 points. And with that, he scores Point Chevalier's second try. It's a great ball from Ledger. And here, it looked like the play had almost broken down, but Solomona breaks through the initial tackle of Melisea, and then just speed and power gets it to the line. And pending the kick, Point Chevalier could be all locked up.
Fabulous Saturday afternoon down here at the Grayland Park, and Kiwis kick off tomorrow, Corey, and big match against the Great Britain team over there in Denver. And
Yeah.
who wouldn't like to be in Denver watching the Kiwis play?
Well, a number of our Auckland boys as well who are going to be on show in that one. A number of them making their debuts. The likes of Ray Faitala Mariner from the Otahu Leopards, Lisa Narmel from the Otahu club as well, and Nissan Masters, who played a bit of footy all over really, but a Mount Albert boy. So all the best to the Kiwis as they start life under the new head coach, Michael Maguire. Ledger steps in, kick is good, we're all locked up at 10 points apiece. Fairly good weekend for footy, really, Troy, when you look at the Women's State of Origin last night, which was an awesome game. A late Isabel Kelly try handing New South Wales the victory. We've got the Pacific Test tonight, which will be awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be a bell ringer.
Kiwis tomorrow, followed by State of Origin. So that's a fairly good weekend. And, of course, in the middle of it, some top-class SAS Fox Memorial Premiership footy as well.
Yeah, somebody said there was some soccer on. Can't see it.
And now, another poor restart. This time, it's out on the full.
Yeah, not good.
You just get the feeling, Troy, this game's sort of stuck in second gear right now. Both teams struggling to get out. Errors holding them both back. Now Dylan Tavita to kick for touch from halfway.
Halfway. On here.
On the 10, up with me.
Go!
Yep, okay.
Back into it we go. Pahlavi gets it going.
Help! Hands off! Clear! All right. We know
Penalty.
No.
Makawi looking for
We know what it was for.
the quick tap.
Keep going on with it. Wait. What are we doing? All on.
Yep, good.
Passini
9, use your arms. 9.
gets us back on the way, locked up. Funny old first half hour in this one. Colioni runs straight over the top of the first one.
Gentlemen.
Richmond get their numbers to close them down.
Well done.
Passini now to Seal. Seal with a little bit of footwork at the line.
Woo!
Been one of their best this year, has Chris Seal, rewarded with Auckland honours a few weeks ago as well. Makawi now on the angle, but that's good defence from Richmond.
Woo!
Right on the line now, Pahlavi, Daniel Pahlavi, I think it is. And Daniel Pallavi scores Point Chevalier's third try. A powerful run through the middle of the park. And he gets it done. You can see they went very close here. Passini jumping on the back of a ball from McCauley. And then here, Pallavi.
Thank you.
Well,
Too
it's
hard
almost
to
an
stop from there,
identical
isn't it?
play. The play's just flipped. And then, as you say, Troy, he's too big to be stopped from there.
And all of that started from a bad kickoff.
Yep, you're right. Kick out on the full. Made to pay for it.
Yes.
Chevalier going down the other end to score.
Yeah, I dare say, head coach for the Richmond Bulldogs.
Now that you've got
That'll be something they'll go back and review.
the comms owner. Now that you've got them responding to you, keep on it with those proactive comms.
And this will be an easy slot kick. Straight between the post, right out in front. No fear whatsoever of commentary cursed.
I'll be Here it comes. Yep, up.
Ledger, no mistake. And Point Chevalier with their first lead of the match. You can see in back play there has been a substitution by the look of it. McCauley off and Tavidalatu onto the park. McCauley going through a bit of a fitness test with trainer Jace McCarthy.
A few of the Bulldogs have been unloaded from the bench too.
I can smell them, eh?
Go on your own, boys.
Better kick off.
Keep going, keep going.
Tavita to the try scorer Pallavi. Gets straight back into it, breaks the initial one from Tupou.
Hold!
He holds on long enough and gets some help. Tavidalatu.
Roll away!
Up and square.
Former Richmond boy himself, Tavidalatu, as Sio now spills it.
Zero
Tongiao picks it up.
On the left. Zero!
So the era-a-thon continues for both
Hold on, guys.
teams.
Hold here, hold, go.
Plenty of mistakes out there. Look out for the impact of Isaac Arkoyatmore, fresh on the park.
Sorry.
Richmond boy through and through. Mum Liz, the manager of this team.
Move now! Hold. Early, Vita.
Motion to Neil. Neil out the back to Stone Dunn. Stone Dunn holds it up. Play breaks down.
Touch, was it? No!
Timing a little bit off out there.
Leave him.
David Dyer picks it up and centralizes with a settler.
5! Final!
Last tackle coming up.
13.
Right now.
Chases are good.
Motion dinks a little kick in behind. Otonuku
Hold!
right in the right place.
Square.
Scoops it up.
Go!
He's tackled 10 out from his line now. Faitotoa runs straight over the top of the first would-be tackle.
Go!
Marlo Solomona, another of the former Warriors on the park today. Played at the highest levels of the game. Scored 4 tries in a game once for the Warriors.
Here, boys.
Latu to Tavita, who gets to his kick, and it's a good one. It's going to turn them all around. Stone Dunn back to pick it up, looks up, looking to find a gap. Does pretty well on the kick return in the end.
Move! Hold! Go! Vita, you're half a step early, buddy. Move!
Starting forward.
Go backwards. Go backwards and play
And
it.
back to play it is the call. Thought there may have been a knock on at first. Tongiu.
Hands up!
On the head penalty. Tavita.
Penalty as well. Tavidalatu pinged.
Drop the elbow on his face.
On the 5.
Boys! Play on.
Pio breaks through the first one. More fresh legs on the park for Point Chevalier. Looks like Nathan Newton now onto the field. Penalty as well.
Yep,
And
no
this
ball.
time it's going to go to Point Chevalier.
Penalties that way.
So messy stuff from Richmond.
Out on the half.
Next line.
And on the 10. Yep.
Foimono, good carry forward from Foimono in the centres.
Hold! Hold here! Go!
Ball spills loose, and now it's Point Chevalier's turn to come up with another error.
Over here, boys.
Their fourth error of the game.
You can hear, I'm sort of,
The Statman's indecisive.
I was just trying to keep up on top of all of that. There's
Well,
a number of penalties that popped out in amongst that passage of play.
You could be forgiven for losing track. There has been a number of penalties and errors so far in this one. Richmond now back on the ball.
Hold! Go!
Arcoy Atmore is set upon, just short of halfway.
Hold here!
4, make sure.
Tongiu to Sione Nahi, the St. Paul's boy.
3 here! Move off now!
Brings some real size to the middle of the park for Richmond. They get a penalty as well. Boy, the penalty count just keeps ticking over. Really starting to hurt
Hold,
now.
hold.
Luckily for Point Chevalier, Richmond haven't been able to find points on the back end of it too often.
Just out here. Over the line. Right there.
On me, boys! Go!
Solomona
Hold!
Tackled
Driven
heavily,
back.
I think is what you were trying to
Stay
say
open,
there.
Dylan.
dominant tackle. Arcoy Atmore now to Tupo. Siave Tupo changes
Nice
direction.
steps.
Boy, he's hard to contain. Look at this.
Shoulder,
Imagine
shoulder
trying to
guard.
tackle it. 10 out from the line.
Yep, number 4, number 4.
Another penalty.
Number 4. 4 green.
A frustrating old day for the referee, who I'm sure isn't wanting to blow all these penalties, but
Set to go.
a number of infringements stacking up now. Arcoy Atmore to Sione Nahi.
Hold! Move!
Motion to Neil. Neil back inside. Lovely ball, but brilliant covering tackle from Chris Seal. Right edge they come now. Stone done.
Yeah, back to 1, back to 1, back to
6 again, the call from
Leave 1 foot.
Richmond.
Yeah, from the Richmond boys.
Not sure if it's come from the referee as well. Nathaniel Law taking the ground. Right up against the line now, a Point Chevalier to Neil. Short to Tongiu, who straightens, looking for an offload, gets it out the back. Neil to Motion. Motion holds it up. Taken down by
Move!
Move up and score
3
now.
Point Chevalier defenders. Nahi.
Make the line. Tick.
Motion to Neil. Neil up out of the line was Onioni. Pressuring,
Final!
making sure he shut down any potential backline movement. We're almost at half time. Arcoy Atmore now to Motion. Motion gets to his kick. Otonuku's back to collect it. A difficult one which bounces up. They just didn't throw enough variety at them there, Richmond. Point Chevalier, to their credit, stood up really well defensively. That will probably just about get us to half time.
Oh, yeah!
Faitotoa.
Hey!
Siren in the background, and that'll do it. It is the Point Chevalier Pirates 16, Richmond Bulldogs 10. Half-time here in the main game. Round 11 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership.
Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We've got highlights from last week's match. And be fair to say, you'll be seeing a wee bit of Pirates action getting mauled by some Bears in that one. So stay with us, as we go to the break here at the main game. Richmond, 2:30 kickoff today, up against Pirates.
Live league action. In 2018, the Auckland Rugby League is putting the game in your hands. Never miss a hit from New Zealand's premier rugby league competition. To get the inside edge on where you can watch the action live and free, hit up aucklandleague.co.nz. Live league action. aucklandleague.co.nz.
To come onto the field, Tuiloma footy off the bench. Watch him change the game when he comes on. Now Phoenix Hunt jumps out. Phoenix Hunt, he's caught them napping. And Phoenix Hunt will open the scoring with a cheeky little dart out of dummy half. The Papakura Seagulls are on the board now. Wallace goes short, brings in
Great offload.
Palu. They keep it alive, and there we go. Trent Wallace it is, who crosses, and Mount Albert hit back.
Drop it on the inside.
Footy, Tuiloma, footy, here he is. We're going to need to check the grounding. It's all good. Tuiloma footy. Wallace now to Miski, Isaac Miski. Oh, the footwork, Isaac Miski. For that quick play the ball. Cully is the dummy half. They spin it now, half to half. Trent Wallace straightens up. Wallace, beautiful offload. Wallace brings Palu in. Palu still powering. Tomababi Gerard. That's the try.
This game, haven't they?
Have indeed. Some really good footy, both Jamal and Phoenix. Now they go short side. Ika Ehito, he'll be hard to stop. Be more than hard to stop. He just won't do it. Jamal Hunt, too
inside,
big, too strong, under the posts. Last tackle coming up. They jump out of dummy half. He's going to come close. He scored it. Feel and smell. Evian Hunt. Uwasi now plays at the line. Ropati now. They're into open space down the side of the field. Kidia steps back inside. Junior Kidia. I think he's there. He scored it, Junior Kidia. For one of the upsets of the season, Pipo, two-handed carry, takes it down. There's the siren. And the Manaia Homes, Papakura Seagulls, 28. Beat the WH Very Limited, none of it Lions, 24. What a game.
Be a bell ringer. Here they come. Here come the Pirates.
So let out by
Guard on it.
Nakawi at the front there. A lovely touch from the cultivated Orphex Point Chevrolet Pirates making their way out with the ball boys in tow. Tippins to Manukia, who plays at the line now. Tode brings Siaki, and Siaki to A'alo. A'alo with the fend. Toa A'alo. A'alo is going all the way. There it is. 4-0 down early. Pai puts the kick across. Now they're in driver's space. That is lovely work. Jeremiah Pai. The wrong team have at their disposal now. Hannum flicks the ball at the back. We've got a numbers advantage here. Hamiluaki throws the cut out. There it is. And it is Simon Lua-Falialo. Tippins, dummies to the right. See if they go left, up and in defense. Alo, has he finished in the corner? I think he has. Ruili Buchanan. He's over. Daniel Ruili Buchanan. Been so far from the Pirates. Tippins kicks in behind. Tolday. Jordan Tolday, they're in again, Glenora. Tolday goes to the line. Tolday, Jordan Tolday just as well. Michael Key managed to hold on there. Although, they're in again. Taylor points to the spot right in front of the SAS uprights. They've got the back door now. Arlo gets the offload away. Ruilu Buchanan finishes in the corner. Latu to Pai, looping ball over the top. They should have them here. Nice finish, Sola Solomon. Alcio plays out the back door to Makawi, who brings Pai in, and that's nice. Is it going to stand? We're going to wait for a little conference of the referees. It is. So well done, Point Chevrolet. And there it is. The Root Rooster is heading back to Glenora. Glenora Bears 34, Point Chevrolet Pirates 14.
He's checking, he's checking.
All right, thank you. We'll go, guys.
Are we ready?
Yep, he was waiting on them, but the boys are out ready to go, so they can go.
Okay, we're ready to go, boys. No.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen.